This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose: helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that: help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to be financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
And Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Hopefully everyone's doing great on this Friday. Rising. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Everybody?
Great.
Bones. You good, bro? I'll take that silence to mean yes, he's good. I'm trying to bring up my sound effects right quick, so work with me for a brief. All right. So peace, everybody.
Got a whole bunch of new ones I'll be sending you a little bit later. Had to unpack them.
Had to unpack them. What you have in a suitcase? A Samsonite? Is that what we doing now? We just
No, just had in a zip file. Had like 8 gigs worth of sound effects.
8. Man, don't do that to me. Don't do that. Don't play with my emotions, Smokey.
I'm not giving you. I'm not sending all 8 gigs. No.
Don't play with my emotions, Smokey.
Like today we doing a show on sound effects. Ain't nobody talking, just sound effects.
That's right. Like, why Thomas making all that noise in the background? What's really going on? I'm just saying, so we know what we gonna get them sound effects to no sellout. That's what we gonna do. That's what I'm going
like,
to do.
Press the button.
Exactly. That's what we doing.
Exactly.
You heard I said I ain't started.
Yeah, him too.
So peace to the chat. Peace to the new registrars, aka subscribers to the website. Got in the form. They're on the chat. Peace to everybody. Peace to the silent majority. Peace to the best chat on earth. Today is Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully you were able to have some conversations with your relatives yesterday while getting it in. I had a conversation with my father, which is strange. Not that I had a conversation with him, but I was talking to him about Indians, and he was the one that gave me he was the one that gave me the genealogy on his side. And when he was talking about Indians, it's like he forgot the conversation we had that led up to all this in the first place. Anyway, yeah. So then he says to me after I break everything down, I gotta do some more reading. Yes, sir, you do. We all do. So with that being said, I'm gonna do the roll call. So, Grand Rising, Bounds. Grand Rising. Is that? Man, look.
Somebody.
Is that by Big Nelson? Please forgive me if I mispronounced that. Bicnelsa. So, again, forgive me if I mispronounce it. Grand Rising, Celestial Love. Grand Rising, Feather Dragon. Grand Rising, Joe 47. Grand Rising, Mayan Sun 0911, aka Liz Robinson. Grand Rising, Mr. TJ, aka Ratchet Man. Grand Rising, Oak Cliff, the original foreman. Grand Rising, Ohio player. Grand Rising, Original Tillers. Grand Rising, Pamela Hall. Hashtag my favorite foreman named Pamela Hall. Grand Rising, Phoenix Rose, aka Ving Rings. Grand Rising, Tiny. 04 044. I like saying it. 04 044. Grand Rising Doodle Vision. What it do, boss? So yeah, Big Nelson says yes. Thought Miles was playing tricks on me for a second. I'm like, really? Subscription is fine. For those of you who wear glasses, have you ever felt like the subscription on your glasses ran out while they was on your face? I'm just saying. I'm just wondering, am I the only person that's ever happened to? Because that's what it feels like. So, yeah. Pay me, no mind. And if I forgot to give you a shout out this rising, just put it in the chat. Like, hey, you forgot me. I ain't doing it on purpose. And we're gonna blame Don't Sell Out till he get here. Everybody cool with that? Great.
Say he ain't here.
That's right, he ain't here.
What are you gonna say about it? What are you gonna say about it? Nothing.
Not a thing, not a thing, not a thing. Ain't nobody scared till he get here. I got mind control over. Don't sell out. All right. So I would do a what we learned today or what we learned yesterday, but I don't think that needs to be said or repeated because we learned a lot yesterday, right? No?
Cleaning out that closet.
Yeah.
Yes, we did a lot yesterday.
Spring, just some spring cleaning. Just some spring cleaning, so it's all good. Got everything, a lot of things out and open, so the receipts will be coming to a theater near you.
Oh, no, they going on today. I just had to get everything uploaded to it.
Okay, well, y'all heard it, relatives. It's gonna be y'all heard it. He about to get it to them, but they don't want it. Can I say that on there? Yeah. Yeah, I think I can say that on there. Yeah. Where we at? Slideshow.
I think Gabby and Carolinas, I'm in Georgia.
I'll be in Georgia soon.
The two of y'all in Georgia? Oh, Lord.
I'll be in Georgia soon.
Do you know where?
Let me know when you come down this way.
My best friend, she lives she lives close to Atlanta. I think she said she's like 30 minutes away from there driving, so I'm not sure where that's at.
It depends on if she's north, east, south, or west, because I'm south of Atlanta.
North Carolina, that's the closest of navigation of north I'm gonna be able to tell you right now.
I can't with y'all. I can't.
Hey, go two dots by the tree, make a left. 2 dots by the tree, make a left.
Yes.
Jeff 47 cutting up already. He must be filling in for David Corey. He talking about some cousin and cousins.
He's talking about triple cousin.
See, I'm gonna blame the chat because before last Friday, I won't relate to none of y'all. Now I'm related to all y'all.
Get him, Gabby.
How that happened? On air. As a matter of fact.
Get him, Gabby.
Like, what the world?
Triple cousin. I'm going back to Virginia family now.
Had the chat helping. Like, where they do that at? How you spell your last name, TMH? Like, I don't remember telling you what my last name was. Is that 1 R or 2? Is that 1 L or 2? Is that Harrison? No.
We gonna catch all these variations.
Messing around. Get me related to people. I don't want to be related to nobody.
Cousin Thomas.
Couldn't. All right, y'all. So, time to hit this clock. Trying to get back to woke. Yeah, I said it woke.
What it was Copper or Doodoo yesterday that said, "Don't get so woke you sleep."
Yeah. I'm glad I was on mute when he said that. I think he said, "Don't get so woke you fall back to sleep."
Oh yeah. I stay woke.
All right, I'm at this clock. Boom. Let's do it. All right. Anybody know what we left off on Wednesday? On what Friday?
You can put the link in the chat.
I am as soon as I can. We
Find
did
it.
symbolism. No, I got the link. I'm scrolling down now. I want to be able to tell people where we yell.
I can tell you.
You said you could tell me.
You know it's White Friday. It's gonna take us a minute. It's White Friday today.
It's White Friday. What is White Friday? You know what? I'm not falling for that. I'm not. It's not gonna happen. Nope. Not doing it. Not doing it.
I'm trying to follow you. I just don't see the link in the chat yet.
I'm about to look. You about as bad as don't sell out. Dag nab it all. Where is it?
The link?
No. The chat box. There's the link, yo.
Come with me.
Really? This is what we're doing.
https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/10th_Cavary United States.
This is what we doing.
Is that somebody's password? I wasn't sure who I was supposed to be listening to that.
I can't.
There's a whole lot of dot, slash, dot. Hold on, Gabby. Hold on.
I can't with y'all. Can't.
I told you I'm suffering, y'all. I'm suffering. I need help.
What you need help with? What happened?
White Friday got me under the weather.
You said, what is... Okay, I'm not... You know what? I ain't got no choice. What is White Friday, sir?
I don't know. They got a Black Friday, so I just renamed one.
That's right. Today is... Come on, man. Okay, so...
You know, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know if this I don't know what this says about me, but I didn't know for a long time that Black Friday was about going shopping and buying things at a discount. What I thought Black Friday was like a recognition of like something that happened in history, like the Black Plague or something like that.
What's the recognition of something? They tricked everybody to come out to buy some old goods at inflated prices.
Okay.
And you think you're getting a discount.
Okay, so I'm gonna read what's in the chat. Original Tiller says, is the answer Africa? Yes. Michael Harris Brown Cheek says, can you be sleep woke or maybe scam woke? Yes. And the final answer to the question of Black Friday, they're telling you that they put something together to give black folks money on Friday after Thanksgiving. Yes. Next question.
Wait, what was that? Okay, repeat that last answer.
Black Friday. They're telling you that they put something together to get money from black folks on Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Oh, so it's like Black History Month, like a
No. It's just like break yourself, fool. This is a jack move.
So it's a money holiday.
Yep.
Yeah. So you think you're buying stuff at a discounted price? No. You don't realize you're buying old stuff that's been sitting on showroom floors that they can't get rid of. That's what you're buying.
What do you say?
Think about it, the second longest selling day is what? The day after Christmas when everybody's taking all them cheap Black Friday gifts back.
Mm.
They know what they doing.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Retail stores be waiting for the day after Thanksgiving. What? Sleeping in front of the calendar.
So it is a plague.
See, as James would say.
Ocio.
Ocio.
Oui.
Guado.
No. Whichever one come first.
Mm-hmm. You know what we need to do? And I'm bad for this. Because you know when I say we, I really don't mean we as in I'm gonna help. I mean we as in somebody else is gonna do it. So what I would like to do is I would like to have a Latino class. So if I need to spearhead that, James, just let me know what books I need to purchase or pick out so we can start having a Latino class.
Ooh, I'm gonna post a link in the chat. I found a really good website that has classes and all that stuff too.
Latino?
Yeah.
Like Ladino, like the dog, Latino.
Not the dog, the language.
But I'm saying it's something. Never mind. I'm gonna have to send you the script because you are not following it.
Oh, you're reading from a script.
The one in my head. Keep up. Anyway.
Script. No.
Not script. Never mind. So, I'm gonna need you to read, little girl.
I'm gonna go on.
I thought I was grown.
You are, but right now, for this intents and purposes, and this intense, y'all said it, intents and purposes, I'm gonna need you to read. You know what we are?
You heard that, Gabby. You said go to your corner too.
I know, right?
Do not pass go. Do not collect your $200.
Okay, hold on. I know I had this.
What? What happened? What I missed?
Website for okay, let me just.
Joe 47 says Gabby about to
Everybody
go
in the store can hear y'all, and they think we all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they think we could. We are crazy. Hi, everybody in the store. What store is this? Give a shout out to the store. Peace, store.
Okay, I got something interesting to ask.
Oh Lord, we ain't even at the end of the show. Ohio player says read in all caps. LOL. Go ahead. What's the question, Gabby? What's the question?
Okay, fine.
Really?
Even out of Africa, Ohio, it would.
Okay, you going in and out. You breaking up. Gabby?
Yeah.
You breaking up. I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah, you're a lot better now.
There you go, Gabby.
So what was your question? Grand Rising Copper Indio.
Okay. What is going on?
I can hear you now.
I mean, I had a question and my computer started thinking.
Grand Rising Powelton 9. Gabby?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Yes.
Grand Rising,
You know
make
that
it that one.
N
Good.
word that a lot.
The moment she starts speaking, she goes out.
Gabby.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's your question?
Okay, I don't know who I upset, but maybe I shouldn't have been thinking for asking questions so early. I'll wait to the end.
Really?
I don't know. Every time I go to ask this question, my computer starts thinking and my internet gets unstable.
Sound like you got one of the plans that I got.
Okay, how about, can you hear me?
Wow, she ain't joking.
Really?
Where'd you go, Gabby?
Nowhere. I'm right here. Where are you?
Okay, so just go ahead and ask the question because we can hear you now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, my question is, you know that N word that we like to use sometimes?
You mean like nobody? Damn? Nuh-uh? You mean that N-word?
It's close to nuh-uh.
Sounds like Naga. Sounds like Naga.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Yeah, what about it?
So it was like 3:00 in this morning spelling bee, right? And a little boy got the word nagas as a word to spell, and he was really nervous to spell it, and he kept asking, what's the definition, can I hear it in a sentence, what's the pen, and all things, trying to avoid, like, prolong the spelling of it. And he spelled it, and they told him he was correct, and he was just so surprised, like shocked, nervous, like you could see all that excitement in his face. So I looked at the word, and I was just really interested in the fact that it sounds really similar to a word that we use in slang towards each other, but it ties back to Ethiopia.
No, that same word is used in the South. And it's used and it's said the same way. Naga?
Yeah.
It's said the same exact way.
Maybe we can get the resident linguist, James, one day too.
Yeah.
You talking about me, right?
No.
No, cousin.
No. Oh, you meant that N word. No, sell out. Got it. I'm going to murder.
He just feeling triple.
Step away from the corner.
So let me show you how creative our chat is. Power 10-9 says niggas. Oak Cliff says naga. Ohio Player says niggas. And then Power 10-9 says no, as in ANAWL. Oak Cliff says nonprofit. Mr. TJ says Nagasaki.
You said nonprofit.
Oak Cliff. She said nonprofit. I'm just saying. Look. little slick. See Ohio play. He just be dropping jewels like he Jacob the Jeweler. Y'all remember Jacob the Jeweler from the 80s? That's where you get your Dookie ropes and
Bling,
chains. Where you get your Dookie ropes and chains from.
Start calling him Ohio player, aka Mr. Bling Bling, dropping Jews.
Big Nelson says a pack of negus.
But one of the definitions to that
They
word.
come by the 6 or 12. They come by 6 or 12. 6 to 12.
15 pack. Stop playing. We down south.
Well, that's that Super Baker dozen.
Go 13. You get an AM1. What in the world? Who's standing by the 10,000 volt monster? Alright. Y'all ready to read?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Y'all ready to get this signing on?
Yeah, you know one of those definitions said Ethiopia.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Quick public service announcement. Bounce. If people need to get their genealogy done, what we need to tell them? What they need to do? Please speak up.
Once again, for anyone who's needing help with the genealogy, it's easier if you send us your file, your GDX file, or if you added this on as a guest to your Ancestry account. Because again, when doing the genealogy, you yourself may know your relatives and who you're related to, but we don't. We just see names. So if we don't have family members to tie them into, to verify this is your family member, it makes the process longer. And we just don't want to be sending you names and it's not family members. So again, if you can, add us to your Ancestry tree as a guest. That's autonomousassembly@gmail.com. Or you can just send us the file so that way we can have something to link your family members up to as we pull their names and do this research. Again, thank you.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So, now Salah, you reading today?
Do what now?
Are you reading today?
Be like if the kids know how big the words is.
Okay. Okay,
Grand
so
Rising, peace to the chat, peace to the panel. I'm going on mute.
you know what? Mr. CJ says bring leaves to TMH. He always talking about come see me.
On that 112. Maybe you can come see me.
I don't like none of y'all right now. How about that? Anyway, y'all ready to read?
Oh, I thought it was a Jagged Edge remix.
Nope. What we gonna do? Where we at? Who reading? Do I need to read? I'll read.
Do you want me to read?
I mean, I thought we was gonna get no sellout to read, but I guess he on reading strike. He ain't reading no more.
So we are at Indian Wars 1885 to 98, right?
Yep. Yep.
No, we got that far
No, you didn't.
because we didn't do the regimental song. We
No.
didn't get past symbolism.
No, we did get past symbolism. We skipped the regimental song. Hold on. Hold on. We actually got to the first Indian Wars, which were 1866 to 1874, and then
Oh yeah. Nope, we did 1875 through 84 too.
mm-hmm,
Remember all the alphabets,
mm-hmm,
letters in the alphabet.
mm-hmm. Yep.
We didn't. I don't think we finished it though.
No, we didn't.
I think we probably got to the scouting we probably got to telegraph lines.
Yeah, we got the telegraph lines because that's when I went off on my rant about the telegraph lines. So yeah, we can pick up from there. Where you at though?
In my house.
Where in the paragraph are you?
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad.
She said, in my house. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm at the scouting activities took the troops.
Okay, then that's where we gonna start.
Start.
We're gonna start there.
Okay. We'll start here.
Yeah, go ahead, start there.
Okay. The scouting activities took the troops through some of the harshest and most desolate terrain in the nation. Okay. These excursions allowed the preparation of excellent maps detailing scarce water holes, mountain passes, and grazing areas that would later allow for settlement of the area. Okay. These feats were accomplished while the troops had constantly to be, hold on, am I reading that right? These feats were accomplished while the troops had constantly to be on, okay. These feats were accomplished while the troops had to constantly be on alert for quick raids by the Apaches.
Stop.
Okay. I'm sorry. That too was throwing me off.
Yeah, it wasn't written correctly. Again, if you listen to history, American history, the way they tell it through Graham Hill and the others of those nonprofit foundations who have a narrative to spin, they would tell you that these Buffalo soldiers who were ex-slaves and illiterate were also making maps. They were detailing maps. If you can't read English, how you gonna read a map? Huh? Anybody? No? Okay. So you're mapping out scarce water holes, mountain passes, and grazing areas. And it said this later allowed for settlement in the area. All the while, defending yourself against quick raids of the Apaches. Can I ask y'all a question? And this is no disrespect to my African brothers and sisters. And it's no disrespect, and this is not a shot at them. But can you name me an African that's known for doing any of this stuff? Huh? No? Okay.
You mean for mapping and scouting and surveying terrain?
Pamela Hall says the question is, how can you read it all? She says how, like the Indians say how. Get it? See how that works? Sorry. Mr. TJ says, how do they know the land? Write it and give distances. Exactly. These are the questions that we need to start asking when we see this narrative being created and the way they break it down, because the only way you would know this stuff is if you know the terrain and you've been across the terrain. So you mean to tell me that some people from Africa who've been slaves, whose family have been slaves for hundreds of years, know the terrain just as good, if not better than the Apaches and the Comanche, and they know how to map it, and they know how to find scarce waterholes, and they know how to do method passes and grazing areas. If they knew all that, why didn't they escape?
Because they were in Ohio.
You stupid. But they in Ohio, or was it because of Africa?
They
I know they
were,
were chasing the rains down in Africa. They were chasing the rains, y'all. Chasing the rain.
So my question is, when these Indians were given the smallpox and was cursed with the disease of being African, did it make them smart?
Yeah, you know that.
Because this doesn't make any sense to me.
wait, what was your question? I don't know if I heard that right.
Smallpox turned the Indians into Africans, and they forgot everything. Some of them. That was the side effects.
Right.
You caught smallpox side effects was you were African.
Mm-hmm. And with that disease, you gain greater intelligence, greater endurance, greater speed, the ability to understand Indian languages. You could map a whole terrain, you could ride a horse, you could teach the military, but you could do everything except for escape.
Yep, smallpox.
Yeah. That's what smallpox does. Those are the side effects. It's like having, y'all remember those invisible dog collars? Well, not dog collars. They dog collars, but they electroshock. So if the dog goes past a certain range, it gets shocked. Yeah. So this is what smallpox did for the Indians. It turned them into Africans, and they could go anywhere in the Americas, but they couldn't leave and go to Africa because they would have got shot. Well, it would have brought them back. It was an original tracking tool. Macadon once said super nagas.
And when they gonna lock down this smallpox thing too? Come to think about it, because I don't know if y'all paid attention to it, but I'm very sure that smallpox outbreaks were supposed to happen in the early 1500s while the Spanish left. So how you having smallpox outbreaks in the 1700s and 1800s?
I don't know.
Remember, smallpox is the reason why the Spanish left the Americas. They didn't come back for 100 years. It was a 100-year gap.
Oh, I know the answer. You ready? Africa?
Let's do it.
Africa? I know people in here listening, they're like, what are they talking about? So I'm going to tell you.
Think about it. They tell you that the Europeans gave the Indians smallpox. Okay, so who cured the Europeans? Smallpox is contagious, human contact. So if the Indians have it, shouldn't every other living person on this continent have it?
Mm-hmm. Just said we was mixing with everybody. Old Cliff says that was H2N1. Get it? 2 and 1. 2 and 1. Kill the Indian, save the man, make him or her an African. Get it? No? Nobody? Okay.
Better be careful. That's going to be their hit single.
H2N1, that was a good one. So, for those of y'all who are thoroughly confused, anytime the narration of history wants to get rid of Indians, they insert that they died off from smallpox, and that's how they explain how they disappeared. So my smallpox theory is that they injected the Indians with smallpox and turned them into Africans, and that's how they became slaves. That's my theory. And of course, it's tongue in cheek and I'm being sarcastic, but that's how ridiculous some of this narrative is.
Sprinkle some pox on them.
Sprinkle some pox on them. Mm-hmm. Sprinkle a box of smallpox.
Hot sauce.
Big Hawk says, super European with extra strong immune system and mind control. So, I'm sorry, Gabby. My apologies. You can go ahead and continue reading.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was looking up the origins of smallpox, how it spreads and what it does, and how it's created.
Don't do that. You're going to mess up my narrative.
Okay, I probably. Well, okay, it was funny. I wasn't sure if I heard you right when you said, does smallpox make you smarter?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's one of the side effects. Make you smarter, faster. You can make maps. You can build bridges. You can create dams. You can catch Indians. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with smallpox.
You just can't escape slavery. That's it.
Nope. Oak Cliff said they spiked the beer. Michael Harris Brown Cheek says today is chickenpox equals African.
That's why they got no drive-through lines at Popeyes going around the building.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got African. You must got that African.
Oh no, not chicken pox, chicken box. Come
That's
get your
right.
chicken box and just be African.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle some box on them.
Eat the chicken, go to Ghana. See how that work?
No, but I'm serious on the smallpox thing. Is that how you gonna say the Indians had smallpox and Europeans walked around the Indians and didn't catch smallpox? They need to stop.
I'm good.
Like Big Hawk says, super European with extra strong immune system and mind control. Although their weakness, aka kryptonite, was dun, 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 malaria.
Oh, so smallpox was originated in Egypt.
Dun, dun,
So they
dun.
say, who was walking around with the medical testing it?
Oh, they found it on Pharaoh Ramses the Fifth, his mummified body.
You do not walk up and find a disease. They need to stop. Oh, we
Who
were just
dusted his
dusting in
knuckles
the
with
corner,
that?
and I found chicken pox over here. I got malaria in this corner when I was dusting. They need to stop.
This
The
mummy
first
knuckles has
time it
disease.
appears, the first time it appears in America is over 1200,000 years ago. But there's no surviving evidence of it. However, it predates.
So how do you? Hold on, Gabby. Hold on. See, the problem is,
Yeah, but you're
it's
supposed to hit
White
him with the don't
Friday.
yell at me.
It's White Friday, and I can't dumb myself down to accept that so far. Hold on. There's no surviving trace of it. So how do you know it was here?
They know.
Because it's existed for 3,000 years and was one of the world's most feared diseases until it was eradicated in 1977 in Somalia.
Hold on.
I'm not believing many things here.
Is that excuse that they use to go over there to colonize the place they call Africa? Smallpox too? But still, this 12,000 years ago, I digress. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on mute.
No, don't go. Come back.
Oh, okay. The origin of smallpox as a natural disease is lost in prehistory.
Hold
It is
on. Stop.
believed-
Hold on.
They
Stop.
just told on themselves
Hold
right
on.
here.
Stop.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Stop.
It is wait. It is believed to have appeared around 100,000 BC at the time of the first agriculture settlement in northeastern Africa.
Hold on, what was
Boo.
that last part again?
In northeastern Africa.
And what was the
The settlements in northeastern Africa. Well, maybe I don't know how to count. What's 10, 000?
10,000.
I said 10, 000.
10,000.
Don't yell at me.
10,000.
Michael says the Franks came in smallpox. They were your. See, okay, so here we go. Michael is on to something. The original smallpox came in the form of Germans. How about that? And break the word German down. So Mr. TJ says not natural, right? So yeah, you added you put down how the original form of the natural form of smallpox came. So when did the non-natural form of smallpox come out? Gabby?
Wait, what was your question?
You read that the natural form of smallpox came about 10,000 years ago. What about the non-natural form of smallpox? Because if there's a natural form, and they mention it's a natural form, there's got to be a non-natural form, right?
So, okay, hold on. I said the origin. I told you the origin started from the settlements 10,000 years, 10,000. Okay, maybe I missed it. I don't know how to count. 10,000 BC.
Right. That was a natural.
Who had the medical test kit?
Oh, I'll tell you how they discovered it. They discovered it. Early victims, smallpox is thought to have originated in India or Egypt at least 3,000 years ago. The earliest evidence for the disease comes from Egyptian pharaoh Ramses V, who died 1157 BC. His mummified remains show telltale pock marks on his skin.
Hold on. Whoa. Pock marks?
But they need. Never mind.
Yes, Pharaoh Ramses V is the first.
California love marks.
Is the first recorded small. Well, actually, that's probably where the unnatural. Because if they took cells from a mummified body and started messing with it in the lab, then yeah, that's how you create smallpox. They're saying they're trying.
They need to stop. They need to stop.
Yeah, but they ain't had no lab in the 1600s when they gave it to the Indians.
Because this is exactly the medicine to do that didn't exist at that time. And we supposed to believe this dude dead in the coffin someplace.
Oh, wait.
Dried out skin.
Here's The Walking Dead. Hold on. There are historical references of deliberate transmission of smallpox from Europeans to Native Americans. In 1763, the British General Geoffrey Amherst gave blankets taken from infected corpses to deliberately infect nearby natives. So maybe smallpox is actually a disease or some type of bacterial infection that comes from decomposing body.
All right, I hear you on that, but this is where the problem comes in. If you had smallpox, infected blankets, who gave it to the Indians? How did you stop the Europeans who gave them the blankets from being infected? How did you stop the village of the Europeans from being infected? How did you stop the spread?
I got the answer. Rarely, smallpox has spread through air in enclosed settings, such as a building airborne route. Smallpox can be spread by humans only. Scientists have no evidence that smallpox can be spread by insects or animals. So basically,
there is an animal that can. There's an animal that can pass through it.
Outbreak monkey.
No, not a monkey.
Pig.
No, there's an animal that was pigs. The pig spreaded it.
Man, don't remind me.
hold on.
The Spanish brought pigs to America. When the pigs got loose, Diseases spread it, and the Spanish left for 100 years. There's a 100-year gap when the Spanish left and came back. That's why.
So I just pulled up the question: how many Native Americans are left from the smallpox outbreak?
None.
No, wait. I want you to help me make sense of this answer.
Like they Africans. They Africans. They Africans.
Gotta tell you. It says today there are over 5 million Native Americans in the United States, 78% of whom live outside reservations. When the United States was created, established for Native American tribes, were generally considered semi-independent nations as they generally lived in communities separate from the British settlers. How many people are in America right now?
What is it? 400 some odd million?
Okay.
Who's gonna count?
We can do a census right quick. Everybody that live in America, say, get everybody drop a 1 in the chat if you live in America.
I'm about to say, just raise your hand if you live in America.
Really, raise your hand.
Get an accurate count.
Ohio players to Cincinnati. Cincinnati was the port capital. Nope, no one's yet. Anyway, moving on. So I like my theory better. Go ahead. One, two, three, four. Five, 6. So we got 6 Americans. 8. So there's 8 people in America. Go on.
This says smallpox is caused by infection with the variola virus. The virus can be transmitted directly from person to person. Direct transmission of the virus requires fairly prolonged face-to-face contact. So they...
Stop. Transmission of the virus requires face-to-face prolonged contact. So blankets can't transmit the virus too.
Well, there's also a black smallpox too.
See?
If you want to look up, Gabby, it's the swine pox. I'm telling you what it was.
Swine
pox. Yeah.
Wait, am I? You're saying? Okay, hold on. You said
SWINE pox.
Swine pox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Like sui, pig pox.
Yep.
Swine, my brother, pox.
Oh no.
Matt Damon.
Oh. Hold on. This is nasty. Self-limiting, contagious disease characterized by general pustular lesions in swine. Ew. SWPV. That sounds like HPV. Is not a zoonotic virus and does not pose a threat to human population. Really? So if an animal gets a disease, it's okay to eat it?
Yeah.
Oh. It is Poxviridae, which is a double-stranded DNA virus, which causes cell proliferation followed by central necrosis, leading to presence of typical pox lesions. Okay, so the virus can survive off the pig or off the louse for long periods of time and is resistant to many environmental changes. It's transmitted persistent virus with this. Okay, these are words I can't even. Okay, desquamated. Scabs can be transmitted to other pigs when introduced into skin abrasions. The virus can also spread horizontally from nasal and oral secrete. I don't want to read no more. I'm good.
Okay.
I don't want to read them.
Oh my goodness.
So with that said, how do they get it and transmit it to us, our ancestors, without them getting sick and wipe themselves out?
Oh my goodness. You know the other name for this is called greasy pig disease?
Yep. But that would be the way of doing it, through the animals.
Oh my goodness, this is also swine fever. Wait a minute.
Yep. You do it through the animals. You introduce a whole bunch of domesticated foreign animals to the Americas, and you leave them.
Oh no. Hold on. Having this disease, pigs with this disease also have mange.
There's different variations of it.
Okay. So does swine-pox affect humans? African swine fever is a viral disease of pigs and wild boar that is usually deadly. Humans are not susceptible to the disease. The typical signs of African swine fever are similar to classical swine fever, and the two diseases normally have to be distinguished by laboratory diagnosis. So while they're watching you die, you know what?
So again, like Bone says, how do you transmit the disease to people without you yourself catching it and wiping yourselves out? Because you gotta realize they weren't always, Europeans ain't the cleanest people on the planet. And they weren't the cleanest people on the planet then. So how do you do that?
People are sleeping with their animals, and I mean like laying next to them. That's where I'm going with
No,
this.
you don't even have to sleep next to them. If you study contact between humans and animals, just by you living in close proximity with animals, diseases fester.
Right.
You got to look at human waste, animal waste, the close proximity at this time, the different living standards.
Ooh, this is kind of nasty. This thing come with a ration. So basically, these diseases come from, I guess I guess how I could categorize it as poor hygiene of animals, but also for personal hygiene in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, this thing just pulled up fungus on the feet. I'm done. It serves as a natural host. Hold on. This says swine pigs serve as a natural host for diseases. I mean, I don't eat pig, but this is intentional. And you gotta think, pork is like everywhere and the cheapest.
Now you get it. Now you understand. Now it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense, because if that's the case, they'll be infecting themselves and killing their own population. They had a small population in the first place. I'm just saying. Big Nelson says from buffalo meat to swine. So just Chris said just give these chicken sandwiches eating folks until next week.
I don't know what just happened, but I clicked on the link and it said We apologize for the interruption. Based on the Telecommunications Act, we are obliged to inform you about and ask for your permission. Wow. Okay, never mind. Let me get off this. Okay. I can't be looking up stuff anymore. Diseases and stuff. They're going to flag me. Okay. Let me get back to reading. Oh crap, did my thing go out? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going back to reading. We've established that viruses are very yucky.
But we didn't establish how they gave them to the Indians without them themselves getting infected and wiping themselves out.
To me, okay, so let me do some more Googling.
No, we just do some more reading, please. Thank you.
I'm reading. Double cousin, I need you to read.
Good luck with that one.
Okay, these feats were accomplished while the troops had constantly. Okay, no, the 2 was too long. All right, the state in West Texas produced tough soldiers who became accustomed to surviving in and around that often. Hold on. The state in West Texas produced tough soldiers who became accustomed to surviving in an area that offered few comforts and no luxuries for those who survived. In 1877, 4 soldiers of the 10th were lost under command of Captain Nicholas Moret Nolan. The Buffalo Soldier tragedy of 1877, also known as the Stake Plains Horror, occurred when a combined force of Buffalo Soldier troops of the 10th and a local Buffalo hunter wandered for days in the dry Llano Estacada region of the northwest Texas and eastern New Mexico during July of a drought year.
Stop. Nicholas Merritt Nolan. Who that is? Major Nicholas M. Nolan, 3rd Cavalry, formerly of the 10th Cavalry. So he was supposed to be the one that was in. Is it me or does it look like they've whitened him? Look around his face and then look at his ears and then look at his neck. Does it look like he's been lightened? Or is that just me? Okay. It reads, was a United States Army major and Irish immigrant. He began his military career in New York on December 9, 1852 with the 4th Artillery and subsequently served in New York's 2nd Dragoons. He enlisted as a private and rose through the ranks, becoming a first sergeant. He was commissioned an officer in late 1862 in the regular army while serving with the 6th U.S. Cavalry Regiment during the American Civil War. He participated in 16 campaigns with the 6th and most of its battles. He was slightly wounded at the Battle of Fairfield and seriously wounded at the Battle of Dinwiddie Courthouse. He was brevetted twice and noted at least twice for gallantry during combat. He was slightly wounded when captured at the end of March 1865 and was later paroled Do y'all see that?
Huh? Parole? That means...
He was jailed. Exactly. He was slightly wounded when captured at the end of March in 1865 and was later paroled. Later paroled? Really? Just paroled? I don't know. Maybe
So
it's
it says
just...
captured.
Right, but You
I
go,
mean,
you get
you gotta get.
parole.
Could you get paroled from just being captured or jailed or jailed?
Um, that sounds like he was jailed. That's basically what it sounds like. So, so that's what that
Uh,
is.
so this Steak Plains horror is real interesting to read because I mean, even though they're saying these are Buffalo Soldiers, the account that they're giving for this situation doesn't sound like Buffalo Soldiers.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like there's some people masquerading, being said that they're Buffalo Soldiers. Okay, I'm reading it. Hold on. I'm reading it. It says in the middle of the arid summer of 1877, a drought year in West Texas, a troop of some 40 Buffalo Soldiers, African American cavalry led by white officers, struck out into the Llano Estacado from Double Lakes south of modern Lubbock, pursuing a band of Oaxaca Comanches who had been raiding homesteads and hunting parties. A group of 22 buffalo hunters accompanied the soldiers as guides and allies. Several days later, 3 black soldiers rode into Fort Concho at modern San Angelo and reported that the men and officers of Troop A were missing and presumed dead from thirst. The Steak Plains horror, as the Galveston Daily News called it, quickly captured national attention. Although most of the soldiers eventually straggled back into camp, 4 had died, and others eventually faced court-martial for desertion. The buffalo hunters had ridden off on their own to find water, and the surviving soldiers had lived by drinking the blood of their dead horses and their own urine. A routine army scout had turned into disaster of the worst kind. Although the failed expedition was widely reported at the time, its sparse treatments since then have relied exclusively on the white officer's account. Paul Carlson has mined the courts-martial records for testimony of the enlisted men, memories of a white boy who rode with the Indians, and other buried sources to provide the first multifaceted narrative ever published. His gripping account provides not only a fuller version of what happened over those grim 86 hours, but also a nuanced view of the interactions of soldiers, hunters, settlers, and Indians on the staked plains at this poignant moment before the final settling of the Comanches on their reservations in Indian territory. Like this doesn't, okay, even with it being a drought, and this is just my way of thinking, and if my way of thinking and comprehending this, or, dissecting this is wrong, just let me know. My way of thinking is Indian, you know your front yard, you know your backyard, you know the size of your house, you know your home. So being that it was a drought, and even in that area, you know what places have water, what places don't, what places are dry lands, like you know these things. You would just wander off just saying, okay, you have no idea where water is. It just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right.
The problem with it is this: who dies of thirst in 3 days?
Right. I've actually fasted, and I was okay. I did it for 7 days.
They said they were missing for 86 hours.
Yeah. And they're saying they survived by drinking the blood of their dead horse and their urine. They would have been out of their mind. And they're going off of what this, it says that they're only going off of the account of the white officers.
Wait a minute, did all of them survive?
All but 4.
And they came back to camp. So
And
did they
then
really
they
run away? Did they
All
really
but-
run away? Or was it because their captains didn't know what the hell they were doing? So they were like, oh, we better go get something to drink and we'll see y'all in a couple of hours.
Right.
Grand Rising Marlon P. I'll be in and out volume wise because I'm dealing with background noise right quick. So once I get it addressed, I'll be able to come back in and yeah.
National means like more than just the state that they were in, right? When they're saying it gained national attention, that means it gained the attention outside of Texas, right?
Yeah, made the national newspaper.
Okay, I'm reading. Where am I reading? Okay. The two groups had united forces for a retaliatory attack on regional Native American bands who had been staging raids on white settlers in the area during what came to be called the Buffalo Hunters War. Over the course of 5 days, the Buffalo Hunters War on the State Plains War occurred in 1877. Approximately 170 Comanche warriors and their families, led by Quahati chief Black Horse or Tuukma, left the Indian Territory in December 1876 for the Llano Estagado of Texas in February 1877. Okay. Over the course of 5 days in the near waterless Llano Estagado, they divided, and 4 soldiers and 1 buffalo hunter died. So that's 5 people that died. Due to the telegraph, news of the ongoing event and speculation reached Eastern newspapers, where it was erroneously reported that the expedition had been massacred.
Getting public approval for eliminating the Indians by printing a false newspaper report that the Indians massacred all these soldiers.
Oh, okay. Later, after the remainder of the group returned from Llano, the same papers declared them back from the dead.
There they go.
Okay, and I guess it's a book called 86 Hours Without Water on the Texas Plains. Okay.
I wonder who wrote that book.
It wasn't an Indian.
W.C. Nunn, 1940.
W.C. Nunn. Interesting last name. Won't see none written by Indian. W.C. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The 10th Cavalry played an important role in the 1879 through 1880 campaign. Here we go. Victoria's War. against Victorio and his band of Apaches. Okay, Victoria's War, or the Victorio Campaign, was an armed conflict between the Apache followers of Chief Victorio, the United States, and Mexico beginning in September 1879. Faced with arrest and forcible relocation from his homeland in New Mexico to San Carlos Indian Reservation. Victorio.
Stop. Did I say stop? Yeah. Let's look at this Victorio's War. I want to go back up to the Buffalo Hunters War, but we're going to look at the Victorio's War first. Victorio's War, or the Victorio Campaign, was an armed conflict between the Apache followers and Chief Victoria of the United States and Mexico beginning in September 1879. Faced with the arrest and forcible relocation from his homeland in New Mexico to San Carlos Indian Reservation in southeastern Arizona, Victorio led a guerrilla war across the southern New Mexico, West Texas, and northern Mexico. Victorio fought many battles and skirmishes with the United States Army and raided several settlements until the Mexican Army killed him and most of his warriors in October 1880 in the Battle of Tres Castillos. After Victorio's death, his lieutenant Nana led a raid in 1881. Scholar Dan Trapp wrote of Victorio's War that never again were Apache fighters in such numbers to roam and ravage that country, nor were they again to be so ably led and managed. Victorio, according to scholar Robert N. Watt, is widely acknowledged as being one of the best guerrilla leaders of the Apache Wars. And here's the funny thing. They mention this, right, when they're talking about the Buffalo Soldiers. But they don't mention that the Buffalo Soldiers were the one that defeated him. They mentioned that the United States, the Mexican army killed him. Y'all don't see that as strange?
Well, this says Victoria was a warrior and a chief of the Warm Springs band of the Hende division of the Central Apaches in what is now, in what is now the American states of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Mexican states of Sonora and Chihuahua.
It's a Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just find it interesting. You credit the Mexican army with killing them, but it's mentioned in the 10th Cavalry. Just thought that was strange.
Mm-hmm. And the Apaches, and let's just say, the Apaches are the cousins of the Navajo. Hold on.
What'd you find?
Nothing. Questions.
Uh-oh. What's the question?
No, I'm clicking on the link. I scrolled my mouse over it. Now I'm clicking on the link. Hold on. Okay, they're distant cousins of the Navajo, with which they share the Southern Athabascan languages. There are Apache communities in Oklahoma, Texas, reservations in Arizona, New Mexico. That's not what caught my eye. Hold on. Well, I mean that did, but. Okay, the Apaches to be fierce warriors and skillful strategists. So why are they calling this a massacre? And only basically 5 people died. 4 Indians and 1 hunter, but they're not calling that hunter an Indian. I don't understand.
It's so you understand the narrative that's being created, like Bone said, so they can justify the killing of the Indians. Because if you call it a massacre, it creates a different perspective and different point of view. Hey, these people they were massacred, opposed to they were just killed in a raid, or they were just killed because they got lost. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Words paint pictures.
Okay, the Chiricaha were divided into 2 groups after they were released from being prisoners of war. The majority moved to the Mescalero Reservation and form. I don't know what that means, and form. With the larger Mescalero political group, the Mescalero Apache tribe of the Mescalero Apache Reservation, along with the Lipan Apache.
Where are you reading again?
Okay, so what did I click on? I clicked on Apache that was in the original link. Okay, many of the historical names of Apache groups that were recorded by non-Apache are difficult to match to modern-day tribes or their subgroups. Over the centuries, many Spanish, French, and English-speaking authors did not differentiate between Apache and other semi-nomadic non-Apache people who might pass through the same area. Most commonly, Europeans learned to identify the tribes by translating their... No, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Okay, I lost my place. Never mind.
So I guess there's no good asking you where you are then, huh?
Well, I accidentally, you know what? I'm going back to my original link. You yelling at me.
I'm not yelling. I'm asking questions.
You hurt my feelings. You yelled at me. My self-esteem has been ruined.
Really? Spoil some more water.
You said spoil some more water?
Boil some more water. That's not how you get steam? Boil water? No.
See, you could have went with that's why it's called self-esteem. So, you know what I mean? Okay, boil some more water. Okay, I'm reading. Hold on. Victorio and his followers to prevent Victorio's return to the U.S. and particularly his reaching New Mexico, where he could cause additional problems with the Apaches still on the reservation. Knowing the importance of water in the harsh region, Grierson decided the best way to intercept Victorio was to take control of potential water holes along his route. Okay. The campaign, called the biggest military concentration ever assembled in the Trans-Pecos area, 6 troops of the 10th Cavalry were assigned to patrol the area from the Van Horn Mountains west to the Quitman Mountains and north to the Sierra Diablo and Delaware Mountains. Encounters with the Indians usually resulted in skirmishes. However, the 10th engaged in a major confrontation in Tinaja de la Palmas, a waterhole south of Sierra Blanca, and at Rattlesnake Springs, north of Van Horn. These two engagements halted Victorio and forced him to retreat to Mexico. Although Victorio and his band were not captured, the campaign conducted by the 10th prevented them from reaching New Mexico. The 10th's effort at containment exhausted the Apaches. Soon after they crossed the border, Victorio and many of his warriors were killed by Mexican troops on the 14th of October, 1880. Is this, I'm trying to remember, this is something that, this is something that I've seen reenacted. I'm just trying to place it with something. I just don't think, I think what I'm remembering, it wasn't reenacted where there was Indian on Indian. I think this is, I don't know, this is being reenacted, but I'm sorry, go ahead. Am I reading?
Yeah, go ahead. I got some background notes. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stand by now. It stops. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Go number. Yummer. Okay. This is interesting. See, here's the thing. It's funny because it says they were killed by the Mexican troops, but the work that the 10th Cavalry did exhausted the Apaches, and soon after they crossed the border, Victorio and many of his warriors were killed by Mexican troops on 14th October 1880. So you basically telling me that all the work was done by the 10th Cavalry, but the Mexican troops are the ones that killed them after they crossed the border? That don't make sense to me. And it says they were not captured. The campaign conducted by the 10th prevented them from reaching New Mexico. The 10th's efforts at containment exhausted Apaches. Soon after they crossed the border, Victorio and many of his warriors were killed by Mexican troops. But it says in the sentence before that the campaign conducted by the 10th prevented them from reaching New Mexico. So if it prevented them from reaching New Mexico, then what was the border that they crossed? What am I missing? Anybody? So either they reached the border or they didn't reach the border. Are you seeing? Is anybody else not seeing this? It says these two engagements halted Victoria and forced him to retreat to New Mexico. Then it says, although Victoria and his band were not captured, the campaign conducted by 10th prevented them from reaching the New Mexico border. So if they were prevented from reaching the border, why does this then go on to say the 10th's efforts at containment exhausted Apaches soon after they crossed the border? Victorio and many of his warriors were killed by Mexican troops on 14 October 1880. So if they prevented them from reaching the border, how they end up crossing the border and getting killed by Mexican soldiers? Can somebody explain that to me? Anybody? Anybody? No? So am I the only one this don't make no sense to? Anybody? Anybody? Everybody? Somebody? Okay. So hold on me then. You can go ahead and oh yeah. You can go ahead and read Indian Wars of 1885 through 98 unless no sellout wants to read. And I'm only saying that, Cat, because you might need a break or something. So that's all. So, can y'all hear me? Can I be heard? Okay. So I guess I will read.
I'm here leaving out. Should be back stable in 2 minutes.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and read then. In 1885, the regiment was transferred to the Department of Arizona. Once again, the 10th was involved in the arduous pursuit of Apaches who left the reservation under the leadership of Geronimo, Nana, Natchez, Chihuahua, and Magnus. Now these names are starting to sound familiar. These are Indians that are celebrated and talked about. Especially Geronimo, Natchez, and Chihuahua. It's amazing that you hear about these chiefs and their exploits, but you don't hear about the southeastern Indian chiefs and what they did for their people, right? The 10th Cavalry continued to fight Apaches after Geronimo surrendered in 1886. A detachment of the 10th Cavalry would fight one of their last battles of the Apache Wars north of Globe at the Salt River during an expedition on 7 March 1890. After the battle, Sergeant William McBriar was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions during the pursuit of the Apache warriors. After 20 years of service on post in Southwest, the regiment, now under the command of Colonel John K. Mesner, was transferred to the Department of Dakota in 1891. The regiment served at various posts in Montana and Dakotas until 1898. During this time, a young white lieutenant, John P. Pershing, later known as Blackjack, for his time with the unit, commanded a troop from Fort Assinniboine in north-central Montana. Pershing commanded an expedition to the south and the southwest that rounded up and deported a large number of Cree Indians to Canada. In summary, from 1866 to the early 1890s, the 10th Cavalry Regiment served at a variety of posts in the southwestern United States, Apache Wars, and Great Plains regions. They participated in the most of the military campaigns in these areas and earned a distinguished record. 13 enlisted men and 6 officers formed the soldiers. 4 regiments, including the 10th, earned the Medal of Honor during the Indian War. So I'm going to stop for the background noise.
I'm back in. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, man, I got to mute for background noise. I don't.
No problem pulling everything up on my end.
Okay, I'm back. So, basically what we're looking at they're giving the credit to the officers and not giving the credit to the Buffalo Soldiers, and anybody that was killed was either killed by Mexican troops or somebody else. So the narrative is crazy. So this is 20 years of service and post in Southwest Regiment, now under the command of Colonel John D. Meisner. Since transferred to the Department of Dakota in 1891, the regiment served at various posts in Montana and Dakota until 1898, during the time a white Lieutenant John J. Presian, and they later called him Blackjack, because he was with the unit of. Because he was with the Buffalo Soldiers, they called him Blackjack.
Yeah, a couple of these dudes is who they built the basic character from Glory off of.
But I think the majority of this is not telling the truth.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, I had an issue. Okay, so remember I said I thought I saw it played out, the movie Tombstone.
Got it. Interesting. So, I mean, again, we know that they don't create any content. They just use content that's already been created and put their title on it. So I'm not surprised at all by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's all good. Hold on. Alright, so
10th Cavalry?
You said 10th Cavalry. Is that where we at? No, not yet. We are dealing with the Medal of Honor Indian Wars. So
Okay, I apologize.
yeah, you can hold on. As a matter of fact, in summary, from 1866 to early 1890s, the 10th Cavalry Regiment served a variety of posts. Yeah, I already read that. We talk about the Apache Wars, the Great Plains regions. It participated in most military campaigns in these areas and earned distinguished record. 13 enlisted men and 6 officers from the Buffalo Soldiers. 4 regiments, including the 10th, earned a Medal of Honor during the Indian Wars. So you can read that list of recipients, please.
Okay. Medal of Honor Indian Wars, right?
Correct.
Okay. The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration awarded by the United States. 3 members of the 10th Cavalry Regiment earned the Medal of Honor during the Indian Wars. They were William McBriar Sargent, K Troop, 10th Cavalry Regiment at Salt River, north of Globe, Arizona, from the 7th of March, 1890 to the 15th of May, 1890. He was later a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Lewis H. Carpenter, captain of H Troop, 10th Cavalry Regiment during Indian campaigns, Kansas and Colorado, September through October 1868. He was later a brigadier general in the U.S. Army. Powhatan, Henry Clark, K Troop, 10th Cavalry Regiment during the pursuit of Geronimo in May 1866.
Now, here's the thing that you're going to read that's going to be very interesting, and it breaks down into some very significant points of history when they start talking about where the unions come about and the railroad. Because when they break history down as far as the industrial age. So just read this part where it says railroad labor disputes, and then we'll probably. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, we got to read about Geronimo. What it's saying about Geronimo, and here's why. It says Geronimo was a prominent leader and a medicine man from the Bedankoi band of the Apache tribe from 1850 to 1886. Geronimo joined with members of 3 other Chiricahua Apache bands. I'm about to botch these names up. I don't even want to do that. To carry out numerous raids as well as fight against Mexican and U.S. military campaigns in the northern Mexican states.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, I know.
Right. Sonora and the northwestern American territories of New Mexico and Arizona. Geronimo's raids and related combat actions were a part of the prolonged period of Apache United States conflict, which started with American settlers in Apache lands following the end of the war with Mexico in 1848. So what was you about to say?
I mean, he was good at medicine. The fact that they recognized that he was a medicine man. So that means he was patching up people, making people better. It even talks about how he wasn't a chief. Since he was a superb leader in raiding and warfare, he frequently led large numbers of men and women beyond his own following. At any one time, he would be in command of about 30 to 50 Apaches.
Now you want to know what's interesting. If you look at the bottom, or if you look over here to the right, where it's right up on this picture, the last thing it says a signature. So that means he actually understood English.
Right.
Because he could write his name.
Right.
Which basically means that he may have been, he had a lot of European blood in him.
That's what that means?
Majority of your Indians that spoke English, especially at this particular time, they were they spent a lot of time with the Europeans. They either had a family member that was part European and they went to some of the schools. Just when we go over the wars, when we talk about the wars, you had the Batiste or the less melanated Indians who could speak on behalf of the tribe and speak to the military because they knew both languages. If that makes sense.
Yeah. He surrendered 3 times. During Geronimo's final period of conflict from 1876 to 1886, he surrendered 3 times and accepted life on the Apache reservation in Arizona. He accepted life, so that was like a sentence? That was like a judgment against him?
Yeah, I think so.
Reservation life was confining to the free-moving Apache people, and they resented restrictions on their customary way of life. In 1886, after an intense pursuit in northern Mexico by American forces that followed Geronimo's third 1885 reservation breakout, Geronimo surrendered for the last time to Lieutenant Charles Bear Gatewood, an Apache-speaking West Point graduate who had earned Geronimo's respect a few years before. Geronimo was later transferred to General Nelson Mills at Skeleton Canyon, just north of Mexican-American border. Miles treated Geronimo as a prisoner of war and acted promptly to move Geronimo first to Fort Bowie, then to the railroad at Bowie Station, Arizona, where he and 27 other Apaches were sent to join the rest of the Chiricahua tribe.
It's Chiricahua tribe.
Chiricahua tribe, thank you, which had been previously exiled to Florida. What? While holding him as prisoner, the United States capitalized on Geronimo's fame among non-Indians by displaying him at various events. Wow. For the United States, this provided proof of the superiority of American ways. For Geronimo, it provided him with an opportunity to make a little money. In 1898, for example, Geronimo was exhibited at the Trans-Mississippi and International Exhibition in Omaha, Nebraska. Following this exhibition, he became a frequent visitor to fairs, exhibitions, and other public functions. He made money by selling pictures of himself, bows, arrows, buttons off his shirt, and even his hat. In 1905, the Indian Office provided Geronimo for the inaugural parade for President Theodore Roosevelt. Later that year, the Indian Office took him to Texas, where he shot a buffalo in a roundup stage by 101 Ranch Reel Wild West for the National Editorial Association. Geronimo was escorted to that event by soldiers as he was still a prisoner. The teachers who witnessed the stage buffalo hunt were unaware that Geronimo's people were not buffalo hunters. He died at Fort Sill Hospital in 1909 as a prisoner of war. Geronimo is buried at Fort Sill Indian Agency Cemetery among the graves of relatives and other Apache prisoners of war. That's really, really interesting. So he fought so hard and escaped so much from the reservations, at least 3 times, and he just decided to give up and just be paraded around like a circus exhibit.
Well, we did some shows a couple of months back about how there were actually exhibits for different tribes and different people at these what they call them, I forgot what you call them, what was it, Bones? What appeared to be ports of transition for immigrants.
World fairs, yeah.
Yeah, the world fairs. So that's what they was exhibiting at. They was exhibiting at world fairs.
I mean, that doesn't sound like that's something he just volunteered to do. Especially with them saying that they used his name, his
The problem is you don't even know if that's him.
Right.
They could have dragged anybody out there and said, hey, we got Geronimo.
Right.
How would you know?
Right, and being that most Indians didn't read newspapers, and most poor people didn't read newspapers, then you just basically got to go off of what they say. And they charge a fee to go to the fair, and most Indians at that time didn't have money. So they wouldn't have been able to tell you whether that was for Geronimo or not.
So his father was the chief. Oh no, his grandfather, Mako, had been a chief. Was a chief of the tribe. Okay. I'll go back.
So Jamaica.
Okay, yeah, no, this doesn't make any sense. Hold on. This says, and he just decided, okay, I'm just gonna, no. Okay, Geronimo, and just tell me if I'm wrong in my thinking. It says Geronimo was born to the Bedon Koi band of the Apache near Turkey Creek, a tributary of the Gila River in the modern-day state of New Mexico, then part of Mexico. Though the Apache disputed Mexico's claim, his grandfather, Mako, had been chief of the Bedon Koi Apache. He had 3 brothers and 4 sisters. His parents raised him according to Apache traditions. After the death of his father, his mother took him to live with the Tichihindi, and he grew up with them. Geronimo married a woman named Alope from the Nedi Chi. Okay, say it for me, please.
What link are you reading?
Same one.
Hold on. I'm trying to follow you.
Chiricahua band of Apache when he was 17. They had 3 children. She was the first of 9 wives. On March 5th, 1858, a company of 400
you must be reading the history. Hold on, give me a second.
It says it's under early life.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, it says company of 400 Mexican soldiers from Sonora led by Colonel Jose Maria Carrasco attacked Geronimo's camp outside Honos, Cosquillin in Apache, while the men were in town trading. Among those killed were his wife, children, and mother. The loss of his family led Geronimo to hate all Mexicans for the rest of his life. He and his followers would frequently attack and kill any group of Mexicans that they encountered, recalling that at the time, his band was at peace with the Mexicans. Geronimo remembered the incident as follows. Late one afternoon, when returning from town, we were met by a few women and children who told us that Mexican troops from some other town had attacked our camp, killed all the warriors of the guard, captured all our ponies, secured our arms, destroyed our supplies, and killed many of our women and children. Quickly, we separated, concealing ourselves as best we could until nightfall. When we assembled at our appointed place of rendezvous, a thicket by the river, silently we stole in one by one. Sentinels were placed, and when all were counted, I found that my aged mother, my young wife, and my 3 children were among the slain.
So you was about to say something as far as reference to something that didn't seem right.
Because I don't understand, and maybe it's just me, but I don't understand how that would drive. You lose your wife, your children, your mother, your father has already passed. Now, like, your immediate family has been killed. And if you've developed hate in you, which is like a really strong feeling, when you develop something like that based off of the loss of your family, you don't just, okay, I surrender and I'm just going to make money.
That's not Geronimo. That's why.
Right.
The dude that got paraded around as Geronimo was not Geronimo. Because you have to ask yourself, how Geronimo is at 3 different fairs at the same time?
Right.
It wasn't him. Think about it. Who would know what this dude looked like? If you killed everybody in the tribe, how would you know how he looked?
This says, Geronimo's chief, Mangas Colorados, Spanish for red sleeves, sent Colorados means red.
Yeah, think about it. But all them people got killed. All them people got killed. So if all them people got killed, how would you know what he looked like? You get what I'm saying? I
do. I absolutely do get what you're saying. It says
because if everybody's gone, the United States military can bring out anybody. Be like, this Geronimo.
I absolutely do agree with you. For help against the revenge of Mexicans. Okay, it was during this incident that the name Geronimo came about. This appellation stemmed from a battle in which, ignoring a deadly hail of bullets, he repeatedly attacked Mexican soldiers with a knife.
That don't tell you everything you need to know right here.
The origin of the name is a source of controversy with historians. Some writing that it was appeals by the soldiers at Saint Geronimo for help. Other sources it was mispronunciation of his name by the Mexican soldiers. But here's the thing: we're not talking about guns where you have to light them. We talking about machine guns. And he dodging all these bullets and he attacking only with a knife. Okay.
Sound like a created story to get something popping.
Not only that, but if you can capture this one Indian that's causing all this damage, what that does, that also proves the superiority of your military forces, correct?
Hold on, he wrote a biography in 1905?
How? Let me stop.
It says Geronimo was raised with the traditional religious views of the Bedonkoe. When questioned about his views on life after death, he wrote in his 1905 autobiography.
If it's not telling you everything you need to know.
You mean tell me that you follow a way of life and traditions for so long, and you're gonna say something to the fact of, as a future state, the teachers of our tribe are not specific. That is, we had no definite idea of our relationships and surroundings and afterlife. Really, we believe that there is a life after this one, but no one ever told me as to what part of man lived after death. We held that this discharge of one's duty would make this future life more pleasant, but whether that future life was worse than this life or better, we did not know. No one was able to tell us.
So how was he being medicine man? I quit.
Exactly.
Well, in his later years, Geronimo embraced Christianity and stated,
"It's bull. It's bull."
He joined the Dutch Reformed Church in 1903.
Stop. The Dutch Reformed Church.
You gotta give up that medicine for Jesus.
But wait.
I'm
4
sorry.
years
White
later,
Jesus.
he was expelled for gambling.
Hold up, wait a minute. What Geronimo look like again?
He went to the church of 3 down, 7 up. Crap.
Hold on. What did he say? To the end of his life, he seemed to harbor ambivalent religious feelings, telling the Christian missionaries at a summer camp meeting in 1908 that he wanted to start over, while at the same time telling his tribesmen that he held to the old Apache religion.
What tribesmen? They killed the tribe and they arrested this dude. What? Let me stop.
It's a made-up story. He didn't exist. Geronimo didn't exist. Because I can remember hearing stories of Geronimo being chased by the cavalry and jumping off of a cliff. They even got Geronimo's bluff. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Geronimo.
Matter of
Supposed to be the
fact,
screaming cry when you jump out there. That's what it was supposed to be.
Matter of fact, when I was at Fort Sill, one of the things we did was repelled off of Geronimo's bluff. So I'm just saying. Somebody lying.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's ever been to Fort Sill, or anybody that was ever did train out in Fort Sill, please confirm that you could repel off. Well, in the military, in the army, you could repel off Geronimo's bluff if you was either stationed out there or if you did basic training out there. So I'm just saying. So now you're telling me that this is something different.
Okay, so my question is, and I hope this doesn't sound dumb. who are the Mexicans that they're talking about? Because
That's a good question.
all right. All right. Under where it says life after the massacre of Cosquiye. Okay, it talks about the first raids taking place in the 17th century to counter the early Apache raids on Spanish settlements. Presidios was established at Llanos, and Presidios is a fortified base established by the Spanish in areas under their control or influence. The term is derived from the Latin word presidium, meaning protection or defense. Okay, this is in 1685. In Chihuahua and Fronteras in 1690, in what is now northeastern Sonora, then Apata country. In 1835, Mexico had placed a bounty on Apache scalps. 2 years later, Mangas Coloradas became principal chief and war leader and began a series of retaliatory raids against the Mexicans. So I'm hearing tribes, but then I'm hearing Mexicans, and I don't.
You know what the principal chief is, right?
Do I know what a principal chief is? That's a question?
Yeah.
No, tell me.
Principal chief is like an emperor of other chiefs, meaning he has more than one territory.
Okay, so who are the Mexicans?
They could be a multitude of different Indian groups. Again, because who's telling the story? Are you talking about the Mexicans that would actually the indigenous people of Mexico, being our ancestors, or are you talking about the Asians that came over into South America and mixed in with the indigenous and became Mexican? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I don't understand, because it says Apache raids on Mexican villages were so numerous and brutal that no area was safe. Between 1820 and 1835 alone, some 5,000 Mexicans died in Apache raids and 100 settlements were destroyed. Later, as a leader, Geronimo was notorious for urging raids on war on Mexican provinces and American locations in the Southwest. So it sounds like, if I'm taking this in right, that I'm hearing
Mexico is just a name of an area.
Right.
Mexicans is the name that the settlers took on after a while. A Mexican at this time is nobody but an Iberian, a German, and Asians mixing in with the indigenous people of South America.
Oh, so when they're talking,
there is no such thing. There ain't no Mexican person pop up from out the ground. No.
Right.
It's a mixture of these people coming together in this area. Now you have what you know as the modern day Mexican.
Got you. So when they're talking about
James says it's Plains Indians versus Maya, our ancestors. So
that's why the years are very important.
Again, it's important for us to understand the narrative that's being created. They want to make us think that it's Indians versus the people, the settlers, the Mexicans of today, but it's not. It's the Mexicans versus the Mayans, like James says. So remember the Mayans had called the Indians home to come fight because this was the last stand. Remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, when I'm reading this, would it be right for me to interpret this as when it talks about the Apache, which are Indians, and it talks about the Apache attacking Mexicans, it's attacking basically people who are foreign to the area, like colonies and settlements?
That's what they want you to think, but they're actually attacking Indians. There's an indigenous, the ancestors or the predecessors to the Alabama, to the Seminole, to the Choctaw, Chickasaw.
So this is already a renaming, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, remember, there's no such thing as a Mexican. It's a made-up term. You use these words when you want to hide particular people.
Oh, wow. In 1873, the Mexicans once again attacked the Apache. After months of fighting in the mountains, the Apaches and Mexicans decided on a peace treaty at Casas Grandes, Chihuahua, Mexico. After terms were agreed, the Mexican troops gave mezcal to the Apaches. Oh, okay. It's a liquor, a wine. Okay. To the Apaches. And while they were intoxicated, they attacked and killed 20 Apaches and captured some. The Apaches were forced to retreat into the mountains once again. Though outnumbered, Geronimo fought against both Mexican and United States troops and became famous for his daring exploits and numerous escapes from incarceration from 1858 to 1886. One such escape, as legend has it, took place in the Robledo Mountains of southwest New Mexico. The legend states that Geronimo and his followers entered a cave and the U.S. soldiers waited outside the entrance for him, but he never came out. Later, it was heard that Geronimo was spotted outside nearby. The second entrance through which he escaped has yet to be found, and the cave is still called Geronimo's Cave, even though no reference to this event or this cave has been found in the historical.
Making it up as they go. Making it up as they go.
So think about it. If there is no verbal, no written record of this cave or this incident, who's telling the story?
Fiction.
At the end of his military career, he led a small band of 38 men, women, and children. They invaded thousands of Mexican and American troops for more than a year, making him the most famous Native American.
Hold up. This man had an army consisting of women and children, and they're invading people. They need to stop.
That must have been when he left the Dutch church.
So here's my question. What military career did he have? Because it says at the end of his military career, he led a small band of 38 women and children. What military career? Whose military was he a part of? Was he a soldier who was of mixed blood that took on the title and the role of Geronimo? I'll wait.
I mean, it's a good chance. I'm leaning towards that way.
Hold on. Okay. He was the most famous Native American of the time and earning him the title of the worst Indian ever lived among the white settlers. According to James L. Haley, about 2 weeks after the escape, there was a report of a family massacred near Silver City. One girl was taken alive and hung from a meat hook jammed under the base of her skull. His band was one of the last major forces of independent Native American warriors who refused to accept the United States occupation of the American West. So that's why they paraded him around. They considered him to be the worst Indian who ever lived.
No, they created these images of this dude, paraded him around to get justification of exterminating Indians on the West Coast. Propaganda.
Mm. Yeah, because what did it say? And earlier, and it said that it used him as an example. What was it?
Right. So just think, if he's one Indian, he can cause all that trouble. Can you imagine what 100 or 1,000 of him could do? That's the image they was trying to portray.
Oh wow! You know what? That
They-
just reminded me of everything that we see on TV.
Yeah, remember, TV don't exist at this time. Only telegrams and newspaper. So if you wanted to create a false narrative and a false story, where would you put it at this time?
Hmm.
You don't have a mass amount of Indians reading newspapers. Not at this time. Too much other stuff going on in their life.
Like wars and trying to survive, that type of stuff.
Wait a minute. Go down to Geronimo campaign. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there was a negotiation. During the 3 days of negotiations, photographer C.S. Fly took about 15 exposures of the Apache on the 8 by 10 inches glass negatives. One of
You
the
want it so bad, the military can't find you, but the cameraman always can.
Dudu says that Geronimo was the Kunta Kinte of India's imaginary friend.
Hmm. Hold on. His photos of Geronimo and other free Apaches taken on March 25th and 26th are the only known photographs taken of the American Indian while still at war with the United States. Among the Indians was a white boy, Jimmy McKinn, also photographed by Fly, who had been abducted from his ranch in New Mexico in September 1885. So this little boy is who they're taking the accounts for the massacre that...
I wouldn't even dig in deeper. You're supposed to believe that he kidnapped a European family. European cameraman is able to take pictures of him, find him, keep him still long enough, say cheese, snap, 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 but the U.S. military can't. I need to know who the cameraman got for a tracking agency.
Well, apparently we don't need the military. We just need cameramen. Because they can find anybody that the military can't.
Cameraman get everybody.
All right, I'm going back. Hold on. Geronimo and other Apaches, including the Apache scouts who had helped the army track him down, were sent as prisoners to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. The army held them there for about 6 weeks before they were sent to Fort Pickens in Pensacola, Florida.
Where you at?
Prisoner of war. I'm about to go back.
I mean, the story is just, it gets more unbelievable as you continue to read and ask questions. If he was such an horrible Indian, why would they not kill him? Why would they take him as prisoner?
Right. And then isn't there still a war going on in this time in Florida?
Yeah.
And if he is inciting inspiration and fight, if there's a war going on in Florida, I'm just saying, I would probably take, I would probably be worried that taking Geronimo to a place where we're not really winning, you know what? Okay.
You gotta realize these are three separate stories. These things are not supposed to be happening simultaneously. These are separate stories. They're not supposed to be timelined across. So you're not supposed to be thinking Seminole Wars. You're not supposed to be thinking that when this is all this stuff is going on. You're not supposed to be thinking Mexican Indian Wars when all this is going on. You're supposed to be isolating this from something else is going on. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, so don't do that.
Oh. This prompt action prevented the Arizona civil authorities from intervening to arrest and try Geronimo for death of many Americans who had been killed during the previous decades of raiding. Okay, I'm going back to the original.
Okay, so the only thing that we gotta read before we end it for the day is the railroad labor disputes. Because this is important.
Okay, I apologize. I was reading about Teddy Roosevelt.
How many we're going to read it?
I'm gonna go back. I don't want you yelling at me.
Not really.
In 1905, Geronimo agreed to tell his story to S.M. Barrett, Superintendent of Education in Lawton, Oklahoma.
Where are you at?
Prisoners of War, a little further down.
Oh, I thought you was going back to the 10th Cavalry.
I'm sorry. I am. Stop yelling at me. I'm going back. I'm going back.
I'm like, what? Where's she at?
Okay. The Spanish-American Wars. Nope. Railroad labor disputes. In 1894, the 10th Cavalry was involved in protecting property of the Northern Pacific Railroad from striking workers.
Stop. Why would a military be used to protect a commercial property? Something to think about. They're using the 10th Cavalry to protect the Northern Pacific Railroad. I'm just saying, something to think about. So, we're going to leave it there.
Hold on. It says the Northern Pacific Railroad was a transcontinental railroad that operated across the northern tier of the western United States from Minnesota to the Pacific Northwest. It was approved by Congress in 1864. Now, this happened in 1894, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was approved by Congress in 1864 and given nearly 40 million, nearly 40 million acres of land grants, which it used to raise money in Europe for construction. Construction began in 1870, and the main line opened all the way from the Great Lakes to the Pacific.
Where did they raise money from?
Europe. And what's the year? 1870. So now, why is this important? Because you just had what? The 13th Amendment and everything, making slavery legal. So now you convict these people and you force them to build your railroads.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're forcing them to build railroads, there are tribal members that are attacking these railroads, which is the reason why the Seminoles, aka the Buffalo Soldiers, are protecting the railroads.
You know, movies try to show you, they retell the story with a twist as robbing stagecoaches.
Ohio player put a quote in there that says 10 million Aztecs waiting to build it. Ain't that what Woodrow Wilson said? I got 10 million Aztecs waiting to build it. Build what? The railroads. Aztecs were who? Mayans. Now mind you, these were the Aztecs that were supposed to have disappeared in the early 14 and 1500s before the Spaniards got to South America. So how over 400 years later, he got 10 million Aztecs that were supposed to have been disappeared to build a railroad? I'll wait.
It says Congress chartered the Northern Pacific Railway Company on July 2nd, 1864, with the goals of connecting the Great Lakes with Puget Sound on the Pacific, opening vast new lands for farming, ranching, lumbering, and mining, and linking Washington and Oregon to the rest of the country. Congress granted the railroad a potential 60 million acres of land in exchange for building a rail transportation to an undeveloped territory. Josiah Perham, and I don't even know why his name is red, was elected its first president in December 7th, 1864. Was elected its first president. Okay, the railway's first president on December 7th, 1864. It could not use all of the land, and in the end took just under 40 million acres. So basically they put up 60 million acres that they had no control of, on the hopes of getting control of it, but it didn't work. They only were able to gain control of 40 million acres.
So who helped them gain control of those 40 million acres?
I don't know. I'm trying to pull up Josiah.
The Indians that owned the land, the Indians that were control of the land where they built the railroads at.
Yep.
Because you got to remember too, why a lot of these wars happened. Some Indians were selling other Indians land. Then when said Indians would come back to their area, whole new towns and developments were built up. But remember, the ancestors will relocate someplace new for 10 years to let the land refurbish to come back to farm again. They did it in 10-year cycles.
Okay.
And if you think about it, it's interesting that cycle, could that cycle be in the same reference to how often the census came about?
Hold on.
Every 10 years. Yep.
What, Gabby?
You ain't gonna like me. All right. North and South America, presented by Josiah Perham. Josiah Parham's Ethiopian troupe, and Great Burlesque. Hold on, and Great Burlesque Company.
Burlesque. Where'd you get that from? And where? And why'd you click on that link? You know what?
Okay, so it's red, and when I clicked on it, it said it had no information. So I took it. So I took his name. I took his name, and being that he was the first elected president of that railroad or railway group, I Googled it, and that's what I came up with. So apparently he had Ethiopians helping to build the railroad.
And what year is this?
This is 1855.
So if you calling an Ethiopian in 1865, who in the world is this African American?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, that's you. That would be you.
My paper don't say that.
I'm laughing, but it's really not.
You ain't
funny.
Ethiopian?
You said Ethiopian?
Ain't that what you said?
I eat out in the open. I eat out in the open. I do that.
You don't. Oh man, no man. That is my people.
Just because that is the name of the company, that doesn't mean that's who those people are. Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot, we're in Minnesota now. Perham is a city in Ottertail County, Minnesota.
So what we gonna do is we gonna stick a pin in all that until Monday. That's what we gonna do. Cause it's 11 o'clock. You ain't got no job.
And people want to get out to go shopping on White Friday.
But wait, there's more.
No, it's not.
I'll stop. I don't even think you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but you know. The vision says prostitution company.
The pros and cons, prostitutes and convicts.
Mm-hmm. Jill 47 said, why are we leaving on time today? We never leave on time. We supposed to end at 10.
This ain't even on time. What's on time? Look, you see how they reset our schedule? Like we got that new time now. Okay. Hi. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace.
So, Gabby.
Yes.
Without asking any questions.
That's not fair.
It is. Got your ass, Charles.
So, go ahead.
You don't want me to read Jay Cook takes control?
You messed up.
No Spanish American War? No.
It's Friday.
No talking about the 10th Cavalry picture that they took in Cuba?
Tell you what.
We're about to be in this background for another 16 hours.
Tell you what.
You're trying to extend the show.
Tell you what.
You can ask all these questions off air.
Tell you what. You can download OBS. And you can upload the links. And you can run the show as long as you want to. How about that? I can't tell you what to do. I know what I'm about to do.
Wait. David Carey said, Day of Giving, give us more.
Excuse
Oh, no,
me?
that was yesterday. Oh, that was different.
That was different.
No, that's better.
Yo, Cliff says, "Oh, now he speaks." Talk about David. No, yesterday was a day of giving. Today is a day of taking, and I'm taking my computer and I'm going home.
I don't have to take it.
That's how
I'm
you
going
feel.
home.
That's how you feel.
That's exactly how.
That's how
So,
Hey, so what can you get on White Friday? What can you get discounted on White Friday that you can't get discounted on Black Friday?
salutations, please.
I'm assuming that White Friday and Black Friday are the same Friday, so. I don't know. Peace, y'all.
No, the difference is White Friday, you keep your money in your pocket.
Doodle Vision says, y'all just gonna skip over Ethiopian prostitutes? No, we will cover the Ethiopian prostitutes on Monday.
No, see, TMH doing that. That ain't me.
Ethiopia's prostitutious. Is that the Latin term? I think so.
Fine, go ahead and read the daggone Ethiopian prostitutes. Go ahead and read the EPs. Go ahead and read the ED pros. Go ahead and read the Ethno
Oh,
pros.
so
Go
y'all just
ahead.
bought me 15 minutes?
No,
Okay.
the
All right, I'm on
prostitutes
mute.
weren't. That's the thing. It was an Ethiopian troop. The prostitutes weren't from Ethiopia. Now let me go back to it real quick. Give me a second. How did I get to that? Oh, okay, Geronimo. Geronimo.
Can y'all hear me?
We can now. Were you talking on mute?
No. So I'm waiting on y'all. Let's get to reading. Somebody. Y'all want to do these Ethi prostitutes? Go ahead.
Stop yelling at me. I'm under pressure. I'm trying to get back to that screen.
This is EP Friday, huh?
Okay, let's do this.
David Corey says, how do you stop the cab at 90 miles an hour? With an e-brake. That's how you stop it.
With an e-brake. What was his name again? Josiah what? You made me go back out of it. Stop yelling at me. Okay, Perham. Never mind. I got it.
David said, Gabby shown we can run it without him. Man, listen, I can't wait to turn this over.
Oh, don't be saying stuff like that. That's me. TMH. You got this.
James says, yo, Gabby. He says, yo, Gabby Earl Union is a horrible pimp. She lost all her hookers.
Okay, I found it. Okay, let me see where these prostitutes are from. They are from oh, it doesn't say where they're from.
See? All that for nothing.
I mean, that's something. Because they're not saying that the prostitutes are from Ethiopia. And they're giving him the nickname Italia.
Hello? Anybody there?
Yes.
Okay. So can you at least read about the Ethiopian prostitutes?
Okay.
David, of course, says get off of me.
All it says is that it's a great burlesque company.
A great burlesque company. So type in or
It gotta
copy
be
it.
French. If it says burlesque, it has
Yes,
to be a
be
French
French.
company.
Yeah.
And if they're talking about Ethiopia, France has connections with Ethiopia, which again wasn't called Ethiopia until the 15th century.
Okay. Reporting the United States from Minnesota to the Pacific Northwest. It was approved by Congress in 1864. Construction began in 1870. Great Lakes. When former President Ulysses S. Grant drove in the final golden spike in western Montana, September 8th, 1883. Wait a minute. Okay, and the land grants which it used to raise money in Europe for construction. Construction began in 1870, and the main line opened all the way from Great Lakes to Pacific when former President Ulysses S. Grant drove in the final golden spike in western Montana on September 8th, 1883. So they started construction in 1870. The president basically approved it in 1883. Okay, it says, in addition, the NP had an international branch to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So they were pulling, burlesque company, hold on. So they were from Canada. Oh, so they were probably from France.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the name tells you that, burlesque.
Yeah. So they
James said that France was in control of Ethiopia at that time.
Yep.
Really? That is really interesting.
There's Somalia, all that in the area, all that's in, because Ethiopia consists of 80 different ethnic groups and 80 different languages. Basically, it's a landmass consisting of 80 smaller nations.
Right. So the railroads were initially built by Ethiopians and French prostitutes?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to. And then later they had Buffalo Soldier. Okay, so what am I missing?
I don't know what you're reading, so I couldn't tell you.
No. I don't.
No way.
That's why I was trying to just stop there, because it was going to open up a whole new can of worms. And somebody wanted to get a pickaxe and start digging and grab the front end of it and start.
Stop yelling at me.
Ain't nobody yelling. I'm talking about the chat.
I'll stop.
But I don't mind if you have something to do. I just need to know, can you come? Let me call.
There wasn't no Ethiopians here in the 1800s.
That's why I don't understand why it's saying
They
that
didn't get here. That can just, like how Thomas said, that can just be the name of the French company. The Ethiopians didn't get here until 1919. An official Ethiopian goodwill mission was sent to the United States. This is the first set, and this is 1919.
So
Now, well, this is interesting, though. Between the years of 1941 to 1974, over 20,000 Ethiopians moved to America.
really?
Yep. They were going to school here. Howard Medical, Ohio State.
While certain ethnic groups are always sent to Ohio.
So what?
That's where you integrate them into the society.
Dudavision says, I'll tell you who they were if you log onto my Patreon account.
But the funny thing, when you look it up, and these are the things that I always knew there's a difference between us and them.
Mm-hmm.
They're listed in the census and the demographic as Ethiopian Americans.
Really?
Yep. That's how they're listed, as Ethiopian Americans. You gotta realize, we the only people that don't come off that landmass who are called African Americans, and when people who do come off of there aren't called African Americans.
All right, so here we go. Let's try this again. Gabby, salutations, please. If you can, you can hear. Salutations, please.
Okay, so you still need
Okay,
training.
fine.
Thank you.
You have a problem?
Okay. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace, love, prosperity. Definitely blessings to everyone. Have a wonderful and beautiful day, and also a wonderful and beautiful weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Since you wanted to
Whatever.
show,
Don't sell out.
tell me.
Oh, is it my turn? No? Okay.
Yes, it's your turn. Go, please.
I'm gonna go
Thank
on
you.
mute. Oh, no. Oh, well. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Appreciate everybody for showing up. Got any questions, comments, concerns, and/or corrections? Email us at autonomousAssembly@gmail.com. Shout out to Giovanni. Got an app that works. Peace, y'all. Merchandise is not available.
How do you say?
Do the vision. It is shout out time. And they just wrong. TMH must have some Black Friday money to spend. No, I do not. I have some work that I need to get done.
Hole in that pocket.
I got some work I gotta do.
Vision is
Corner
shout
pocket.
out time.
I'm already. It don't even matter.
Yeah, look.
Come on in, dude. What you got for us? What you got for us, brother? Appreciate you, man. What you got for us, bro?
Just for a moment and realize that I'm trying.
Shout out time.
Roll call.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna pull a Gabrielle Union. Got a question.
Go ahead, James. What you got, bro?
Why don't you hear about any Italians coming over here prior to the 1900s?
Labeled as Ethiopian.
Yahtzee.
Hold on, what was that, Handsome Bones?
Wait, what was
They're
it?
labeled. The reason why you don't see the name Italians before, because they're labeled as Ethiopians. That's how they got here. I've been waiting quietly in the corner.
I am.
Hold on.
Those
What the?
Ethiopians that they were talking about, they brought over here, and they came through Ohio, or Italians. They were called the Buckleys, and you know them better as the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Bingo! Woo-hoo.
What?
Who took over Ethiopia and Egypt? Remember, it was Romans.
That short dude with his hand in his pocket. Who had relations with the Ottoman Empire, the same people that was in control over there at this time. Oh, partners with
Get
the
your
French.
hand out of my French pocket.
Ooh.
And this is what y'all call salutating.
Wow.
Oh, ain't that the same place where Selassie was supposedly came from? One of the people that was responsible for sending a couple of thousand Ethiopians to go to school here at Ohio State.
Oh man.
Buckeye.
Ethiopia. Highly Selassie.
Hold on.
Somebody say
Question.
Astifumate.
Yeah, I still process. Gabby, what you talking about?
Okay, that's all I had. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the greatest chat in the cosmos. Shout out to the haters, the player haters and weirdos. Shout out to the frenemies. Shout out to Supreme Crust Pan Pizza. Shout out to shout out to Igor. Shout out to MapQuest.com. And I love you guys. Guado.
Yeah. Did you add extra cheese and corn to that pie? Who adds corn to a yeah. Is he saying guano, like guano bones? Or just okay.
I'm not following that.
Guadalupe foods.
No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So that I ain't got nothing else to add. Everything that need to be added got added. So I'm gonna turn it over to.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Bounce. Do what you do, bro. I'm on mute.
All right.
You call Bones, and now I have to go on mute. Dang it! All right.
Peace to panel this rising. Appreciate all the work that goes in to make this possible. Thanks for subscribers and new subscribers to the website and the ones that still subscribing to the YouTube page. Thank the chat, the ones that's active every rising, that make sure that when we get together, it's going to be a very entertaining time. Thanks to the ones that's listening, taking in the information to improve their situations. We're going to keep it short. Everybody just take this time when you're with your families to sit down and conversate with them. Learn as much about your past and your family history as you can over this weekend while we're together. So till we link up again, everyone continue to have a very, very blissful day. Remember, it's White Friday. Until we link up again, peace. Save your money in your pocket.
Yeah, merchandise is now available, and I'm just here to make you think I know what I'm talking about.com. Peace, y'all.
It's physically located behind the 7-Eleven near you.
Craigslist meetup.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.